524 AD, northern Italy. A man sits in his cell. Outside, the executioner knows this won't be over until morning. Inside, the man is writing. His hand isn't shaking. He makes no sound. He just writes. 6 months ago, this man was effectively the second most powerful person in the Roman Empire. His 2 sons had been declared consuls on the same day, an honor so rare it had almost never happened before. His name had been woven into the fabric of Rome for generations. Now he sat in a cell, waiting for dawn, and what he wrote that night would become one of the most influential works of philosophy the world had ever seen. But this isn't a story about a book. This is a story about what a man finds when he loses everything. Boethius was born in Rome in 477 AD, but Rome was no longer Rome. The Western Empire had collapsed just a year before. The city was ruled by gods now. The Senate still existed, but it was fragile. Everything was fragile. He was orphaned young and adopted by the Symmachus, one of Rome's most ancient families. Symmachus gave him more than a home. He gave him Plato and Aristotle, Cicero and Euclid, and eventually his own daughter. Boethius had an extraordinary mind. He knew Greek, something almost no one in the West could say no more. He made a decision. He would translate all of Aristotle into Latin. All of it. Alone. His reason was clear. Greek philosophy was vanishing. Languages were being forgotten. Libraries were burning, and almost no one was paying attention. He wrote for decades, mathematics, music, logic, theology, and as he wrote, he rose. Theodoric, king of the Ostrogoths, the man who effectively ruled Italy, noticed him. He brought Boethius into his court. In 522, Boethius became Magister Officiorium, head of all palace appointments, the administrative heart of the empire. The same year, his 2 sons were declared consuls on the same day. Standing before the Senate, Boethius said, "I have reached the pinnacle of happiness." He would remember that sentence 2 years later, in his cell. A rumor arrived from Constantinople, 523. The Roman Senate had been exchanging secret letters with the Eastern Emperor. The name brought to Theodoric was Albinus, a senator. Boethius stood up publicly. If Albinus is guilty, then so is the entire Senate, including me. It was meant as a defense. It was heard as a confession. Within weeks, Boethius was arrested. The charges: treason, sorcery, secret correspondence with Constantinople. None of it was proven. It didn't need to be. Theodoric was old now. The paranoia was growing. The bridge between Goths and Romans was collapsing. And Boethius, too Roman, too brilliant, too powerful, was standing in the middle of it. They didn't allow him to defend himself. The Senate voted guilty. Boethius was sent to the cell in Pavia. His estates were seized. His father-in-law, Symmachus, stayed silent, and then was executed too. His wife and sons were left with nothing. The cell was cold. Sounds came from outside, but meaningless sounds. Inside, only silence and waiting. Boethius thought about what he had done, the injustices he had fought, the people he had defended, the years he had given, and now, this. Then he began to write The Consolation of Philosophy. But he didn't write a textbook. He wrote a dialogue. As he weeps alone in his cell, a woman appears. Tall, composed, her eyes sharp and ancient. It is Philosophy herself, and she asks him, "You were my student. You walked with me for years, so why are you weeping now?" Philosophy tells him about Fortuna. In Rome, Fortuna was the goddess of fate, but Boethius' fortune is something colder, more abstract, more relentless. Fortuna holds a great wheel. The wheel turns, some rise, power, wealth, fame, some fall, poverty, prison, death. And Fortuna has only one law. The wheel always turns. Philosophy asks him, "When did you start believing that Fortuna's gifts were truly yours?" Power was never yours, it was given. Wealth was never yours, it was passing through. Fame was never yours, it lived in other people's minds. And now, she has taken it all back. But you are still here. What she imprisoned is not truly you. Boethius asks, then what is the real good? What is the one thing Fortuna cannot take? Philosophy answers, the reasoning mind, the will that chooses virtue. These cannot be taken from you. But Boethius asks one more question, the heaviest question. If God is good, why do the wicked prosper? This question has been unanswered for 2000 years. Philosophy's answer is not comforting. It is something stranger. The wicked do not prosper, she says. Power, title, wealth, these are not prosperity. True power is power over oneself. And the wicked man has already lost that. Because to be good requires choice. And the man who cannot make that choice is already a slave, even if he sits on a throne. And then she says this, you look out from your cell and think they are free, but you are the free one, because you are still choosing. Late 524, Boethius was taken from his cell. Historians disagree on how he died. Some say rope, some say a club. What is known, he was killed. The book remained. For 1,000 years, it was one of the most widely read texts in Europe. Alfred the Great translated it into English. Dante counted it among his inspirations. Cowsher, Aquinas, Elizabeth I, all of them read it. And all of them asked the same question while reading. How did this man think so clearly on the night of his death? Maybe the answer is this. When Fortuna's wheel turned, he didn't try to stop it. He accepted that it was turning. And as it turned, he held on to the only thing it couldn't touch. The act of thinking itself. The cell was cold. The hand wasn't shaking. The man was writing.